I was morbidly obese my entire life. And my friend Ron, who I knew from another business, was coming by every month. He'd come by, and this is really a lesson for you guys. Many years later, his wife Chris said to me, every month we put you back at the top of our list. And he came by every month for about 8 months. But I wasn't ready. I would tell him, oh yeah, Ron, I know how to lose weight. I've been doing it my whole life. And so, meanwhile, I was doing a lot of mission work. I had started doing mission work at that point. And it was kind of like a perfect storm where we were in Guatemala and I was always full of energy. So I said to the nurse who was our host, I said, oh yeah, on our off day, let's climb the volcano. And she turned as white as her lab coat. And I said, what is it, Vicki? And she said, well, we had a team up here and we were climbing the mountain and one of the guys had a heart attack and we had to carry him down the mountain and send him home in a box. So I knew really what she was saying was pretty much, you look like a heart attack waiting to happen. At around the same time, I had a friend, another physician in town, who had bariatric surgery. And he had lost a lot of weight and he was really looking good. And I was almost like, oh gosh, maybe I should consider it, even though I always knew that bariatric surgery was not the answer. So then he had a delayed complication from it. So that once again convinced me that was not the way. So I called up Ron and I said, well, actually I was in the living room one day and I said, okay, God, I'm happy to die for my faith, but I don't want to die because I have a love affair with food. And he said, I sent you Ron. So at that moment I called up Ron and I said, okay, I'm ready to start. And he said, you're ready to start what? And I said, that diet. So he says, oh, okay, well, we'll order. And I said, Rhonda wants to order a month's worth too. And he says, well, okay. And I said, and we're going to order the coach thing too. So he's like, oh, okay, well, we'll order it. It'll probably get there by Friday. You could start Monday. And I said, overnight it. And he said, well, it's going to run into a lot of money. I said, overnight it, I'm ready. So it cost us more than $900 to have the 2 kits and the health coach kit sent overnighted. And I got started the next day, and then 8 months to the day, 123 pounds down.
Wow. What did you gain?
Oh my gosh, everything. A life, the options, because we knew that health coaching was going to be an answer for us to give us additional freedom, because we always were looking for time freedom. In fact, I actually had an idea that I knew that I struggled with weight. So my idea was that most people who were overweight weren't overweight because they wanted to, that they just had to change their habits. Okay, so I thought, well, what's a Pavlovian way that we can convince people to do this? So I thought, well, maybe if we had dentists put like a little prosthesis on the molar, that when it reacted with fat, it would give a bad taste in the mouth. And then people would be repulsed by fatty foods and they would start losing weight. So I went to a biochemist and I went to a dentist and I went to a research person, and nobody really bought it. And so around that time is when this came to me. And so we started on this and people started asking, and right away we started coaching people. And then it was interesting. I remember the first time Dan came to our house and he said, well, I thought we had a really good business. We were making about $4,000 a month. And he's like, he didn't use these words, but he kind of said like, oh yeah, your business is cute, And he said, well, but if you want to make real money, you have to start duplicating. So I said, okay, well, how do we do that? And so he explained it. So we started duplicating. And then I remember when we were global, I thought, oh, you know, we're global. And he's like, yeah, well, you know, you're a small global though. And I'm like, yeah, but we're doing 100,000 a month. And he's like, yeah, that's what I said. You're a small global. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So, you know, it really started to grow from there. But I mean, basically, we started to free up our time. We started to have more resources to do the mission work that we were doing. We start to be able to spend more times, like when my daughter got married, we came out to Texas for like a week before the wedding and helped her get everything ready. And, you know, it's just a completely different life. I mean, Mark Nelson one time said to me, we were on an incentive trip in Puerto Rico, and he said, you know, people don't work for freedom because they don't know what it's like. And if they knew what it was like, they would work harder for it.
Choose your heart.
Yeah. And I mean, that's really when this becomes a passion for people, when you realize that it's not about you. If it's about you, just like everything else in life. One of my new sort of semi-favorite quotes that I ended our annual benefit with was that whatever you do for yourself will die when you die, but whatever you do for others will continue to live on. And so that's when they're talking about a legacy business, that's really what they're talking about. Not just the financial legacy that you leave for your family, but the legacy of goodwill that carries on to people, a legacy of help.
Which is like, because he said yes, you know what I'm saying? That it like, there's that ripple
The ripple effect, yeah.
Now, back to the whole God thing, right? And roles. Do you guys know what a BHAG is?
I have no clue.
So in
Enlighten
business terms, it's your big,
Thank you for
very
sharing that,
audacious
Dr.
goal.
Joe.
What's that?
Thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.